I'm here with Matt Greiner from the Christian metal band August Burns Red. And Matt, for those who are not familiar with the scene, the type of music that you play, or even don't like the hard rock type of music, you're playing in a lot of areas that maybe have dark subculture and just things going on in today's society. How do you, what specific areas can the church and individuals pray for you and the band while they're out on tour?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's important to note that God loves cities because God loves people. And cities are where people are most populated, are most dense. So in other words, in a city like, say, New York City or, Los Angeles, there are a lot of people in a very condensed area. And the misconception, I think, in some people's minds, a few people that I talked to in the past 10 years of doing this in the music industry, their thought process is that cities are bad and therefore stay away. In other words, where the people are, where there's a dense population of people, there's evil, and there's more evil and corruption there than what there is if you just somehow get out of the city. And I think that is wrong. Actually, I think it's very wrong because we see in the Bible where God tells someone like Jonah to go to that great city. And he actually says it that way, go to that great city, which as we know is Nineveh. And in the biblical narrative, we find out that he tries to run away, and God pulls him back in, and eventually he ends up there against his own will because of his own pride. And in the city, we see culture. And all over history, we see culture being formed in the cities. Being in a touring band like August Burns Red, we are playing in the cities. We're going to the cities all around the world. And seeing culture in the West, in the United States, and then going somewhere like Southeast Asia, you see cultures that really contrast each other. And it's pretty neat to get in the culture in these different parts of the world. Now, the interesting thing is the music industry itself is a culture. And what I think is another important thing to note is this. In order to love a culture, you need to know a culture. You can't just look at something like the music industry, like the fans that come to our shows, and say, well, look at them. They're covered in tattoos. They like that heavy, screaming music. And therefore, I have these ideas about these people. You can't look at it from the outside and make any assumptions. It's not fair. It's not civil. What you have to do is get into the culture. You have to see it. You have to get to know these people. You have to get to know why heavy music is appealing to this very specific culture, right? So, and that's the case with anything. If you want to truly love a culture, if you want to truly interact with the culture in a way that is loving and fair and mutually beneficial, then you have to get to know it. And I would just encourage, I guess, the church or anyone that's watching this that might be on the fence about heavy music and about August Burns Red being out there in the culture, in the cities, in the music industry itself, and surrounded by people that I guess live controversial lives according to the church. I would just encourage you to get to know these people. Don't look at it from the outside and say, well, look at them, and start pointing fingers at the things that you think are wrong and just like faults that you see in other people. You have to get in. You have to see it. You have to interact with it. Because what you'll find is that really there's nothing about you that is any better than anyone else. That's the Christian message. That's the gospel. It has nothing to do with you. You cannot save yourself. You'll never live up to your own standards, no matter how high they are. You'll never do it. And so the gospel tells us that Jesus came to take our place, to give us something we could have never given ourselves. And when you realize that, when you really take it in and you realize it for yourself, you look at other people and you're much more fair with them. And you realize how judgmental you were in the first place. And I see that in my own life. In the past couple of years, I've realized how judgmental I can be with people that I don't really know. I just point fingers at them and say, look at them. Look at what these people do. When I don't really understand them, I don't really know them, I don't really interact with them. So I guess just a good place to start with this discussion would just be look at your heart, okay, number one, and realize how judgmental you are, probably. And if you're not, then no need to watch the rest of this video. And then secondly, get to know the culture that you're so busy pointing fingers at. Because when you get to know it, you'll realize that people are great. And God loves people. God loves cities because they're full of them. And you really have to interact with the people in a culture to be fair, to be loving, and to do a good job of getting to know someone really, instead of just looking at them from the outside. So thanks for watching.
Thanks, Matt. So just thank you for your time, and I just want to give a shout out to my friends in Sweden at Christian Metalheads International, and go to that page and look at for ideas to go to shows like these throughout the U.S. and make connections with people that attend these shows. And thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much.